Hi, Kristen. Welcome. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you? Thanks for
Good.
having me
We're,
on.
we're just getting started here, so we go around the room and we'll hit you up for you'll know what you have to say when we get to you. So
Okay, perfect.
I'll start with I'm grateful that it's going to be. I'm actually really grateful for this deal that we're doing. This it's a mountain of work. The amount of paperwork is just mind numbing that goes along with, just getting approved with one investor. It's insane. And it just makes me laugh because in the year 2000, when I opened this company, you could just call a rep and go, "Hey, I want to sell your product. Can you sign me up?" And they're like, "Yeah, I'll be over in a little bit," and we'll sign the document. And then you'd start getting their rate sheets and you were in business. And so now it's like, you gotta it's worse than applying for a loan for sure. So but I'm really grateful that we're doing it. I'm really excited about what it's going to mean down the road. So that's my big gratitude. Go ahead, Giuseppe.
Good morning. I am grateful that Maureen and Luca started like lifting weights in the morning with me. Maureen's never been a morning person, but now she's getting up like at 5:30
Wow.
for like 2 weeks and is like all excited and feeling good, looking good. So it's fun to have someone else down there too,
Nice.
to chat with as we're doing that. So now it's three of us.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Wins, numbers.
Um, let's see here. Weird week for me, anyways. Leads, maybe like seven, 5 credit reports, 0 contracts this week. And I had like 7 and 2 more discovery calls for HELOCs today. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? Everybody wants a HELOC. So I locked 1 HELOC so far, so I'm not really counting that. But hey, pay for my cell phone bill this month.
There you go. It's been a weird week. It has been a weird week. We had a really good day Monday and then like one more on Tuesday, and then it's like a trickle. So really, really weird. Any wins?
I had a good face-to-face meeting yesterday with a new buyer's agent on Ripple Group. So that she's going to handle like Gaze buyers.
Right on. It's cool. Jonathan, what you got?
Morning, team. I'm grateful this morning for my new niece, Helen. Really excited to meet her, hopefully later this afternoon. My win for the week is I had a VIP high profile guest on my podcast earlier this week, Dave Gallegos. So I appreciate just having him on and getting his insights.
That was fun, dude. That was good.
Thanks.
That was fun.
Yeah, I thought it went really well. So thanks for that. That was a win. Numbers, I had 3 face-to-face, 2 leads, 1 event, and 1 really good discovery call that should turn into a deal hopefully later this month. So
Right on. Good job, dude. Chad.
What up, gang? I'm grateful for I had the opportunity, and I mean, I was excited to go. I went to my cousin's house up in northern Minnesota. They live on a lake. Um, I wasn't really excited to go because I got back from my backpacking trip, which was awesome. Then it's 4th of July, and then we were going on this. I'm like, dear Lord, I just need to work. But it was cool just being out there on a lake, and the mosquitoes weren't, I mean, they were bad for us Colorado folk, but apparently they weren't very bad. So it's just a really very relaxing time, and getting to spend time with the kids in the water and all that. So that was a lot of fun. Win of the week is somehow, even though I was feel like I've been gone for forever and a day, I will hit if everyone shows up to the meeting this afternoon, it's supposed to show up, I'll hit 20 face-to-faces this week. So I was able to get a lot of those in, which felt really good.
Nice.
And then numbers wise, that's kind of the big number, I guess. Hopefully it'll come in at 20. I'm sitting at 17 right now. And but one pre-approval they're shopping this weekend, and no credit pulls, no new leads.
Right on. Cool. Good job. Jack.
So I have two gratitudes for the week. One, we put in beehives in our yard. last year, and they came and harvested the honey this week, and they took away 50 pounds of honey.
Wow.
So I'm super excited. It ends up being like 35 or 40 gallons of honey. So you all know what you're getting from me for Christmas. So I'm really excited. Plus, Luca, Luca has really bad asthma and allergies. And so I'm really hoping that I can start giving him some of that honey, and maybe that'll help a little bit, since we know it's coming from within, they only go within a 4-mile radius of where their home is. So it'll be everything that he's exposed to all the time. So super excited about that. And then Marcio does not have a lot of family, and he has a cousin, and her daughter came in from Brazil this week, and they're here hanging out with us for the next week. So it's been really nice hearing him speak Portuguese again, because he doesn't have anybody to speak Portuguese to. So it's really nice to hear him switch back into that brain, and then he'll randomly talk to me in Portuguese, and I'm like, I don't know what's being said right now. So yeah, so that's cool. And getting Luca some exposure to that, to the language and the culture and stuff like that. I forgot to pull my numbers. I think I had 4 leads. It was a weird week as well. But that's all I've got that I know of.
Okay.
I'll send them later today.
Yeah, that's cool. Thanks.
Hey, Jack, I saw you joined Go Coaching.
And I joined Go Coaching as well.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Dean Reiber.
Good morning. I am grateful to have made it another year on this planet. So last year's been an interesting year, so I'm glad I made it through that one. I think next year's going to be amazing. I'm also grateful for Ryan, who made these super cool wristbands that say life's hard. This has been awesome. I've been wearing this ever since he gave it to me earlier this week, and I've had a hard week, and it's like I look down and I go, I'm just preparing myself for this. Life is hard. Just move on. So I'm grateful that he did this, because I think it's awesome. A win for the week. I actually had somebody I'd gotten from a lead list, the realtor had given me, dead lead list, Lazarus program type thing. And she was doing a new build. The Nest Lending dropped the ball on her. She got a new lender. She was working with a new lender. I said, I'd be more than happy to help you. And the last conversation I had with her, she kind of hung up on me. And I'm like, okay. So I sent a follow-up, said, hey, it sounds like you are set, but if that ever changes, please let me know. I'm here to help, blah, blah, blah. And she reached out to me yesterday, say things aren't going well with her lender, and wanted to know if I could help, and filled out an application. And now I'm working on getting her pre-approved. So that was sometimes even the ones that hang up on you.
That's how it works. Yeah. Good job, dude. Good job.
And so 2 leads, 2 credit pulls, no apps, no pre-approvals, 7 face-to-face for the week.
Good job, dude. Right on, Lori.
Okay. My gratitude today is I'm just really grateful to where I live, because I have a gal that I started walking with on Fridays, and she's taken me around the neighborhood that some of the areas that I've never even been in since we've been here for 13 years. And it's beautiful. And it's just, I'm so grateful to live here and love where I live. So I'm grateful for that. And that's part of Dave too. He's provided very well for me. So I'm grateful for my husband.
Thanks.
My win this week is I'm working on a reverse with Alexa at VIP, and it's very challenging. And she keeps coming back with how I can work through this. Every time I find an obstacle, Alexa's like, well, let's see if we can do it like this. We can do it like that. So I really feel like she's my win right now, because I'm not going to have her for much longer, but she's been great for me to learn from. And then I got 2 leads this week, and I actually got 1 this morning. So working on those. So that's it for me.
Right on. Thanks. Casey Clement.
Good morning, everyone. This week I am grateful for the week. Honestly, just the end of the week. It was let's say a good week, but also a very challenging week. So couple fun deals this week. So I'm grateful really for the help that I've been getting on those. Lauren's been doing an awesome job helping out. And I had 2 leads. one credit pull, one pre-approval. They went under contract and then immediately did I know a couple other people have had this happen, immediately send you the quote from another lender that is just a terrible quote. And so just trying to work with the agents to persuade them to continue to use us. I had 2 face-to-faces on top of that as well. Forgot to mention those.
Your coach put a pretty good challenge in front of you. How's that going?
Pretty good. Gotten everything tracked and done this week. I've got to enter it this weekend. And so he basically said, hey, if you're not inputting your numbers into the system, you may be doing the activity, but no one's going to see it. No one's going to track it. No one's going to know what you're doing. So get it in, or you owe me money. And it does work.
It does.
I'm sitting, it's a beautiful morning, sitting out at my kid's tennis lesson. I'm on dad duty. Tess is out of town all week. So that's always fun.
Right on. All right. Thanks. And like I said, Ryan's playing in a club tournament. Jay's in New York with his son for like his lacrosse college tours, trying to figure out who's going to give him best scholarship. Obviously, Chris Hauber had a baby. Christine broke her vertebrae pulling weeds last weekend, and so she's kind of laid up. Yeah, she's had a freaking rough go. So we're supposed to meet after this. I don't know if I'm going to see her on a Zoom call or not. So that's what's going on there. Kristen, thank you for joining us. So I don't know, I sent out a link to First Home IQ with the Zoom call for this yesterday, or with the bomb video that I sent, letting everybody know. I don't know if everybody knows what this is. I was introduced to it very early on by Dave Savage, and I pretty much sign up for whatever Dave tells me I should sign up for. And so, so that's how I got involved in it. Jacqueline's been involved in it for a while. And then I ran into Kristen at the Mastermind event in Las Vegas. And I just thought, you know what, this is such a cool idea that you guys have put together. And so Jacqueline reached out to Kristen and invited her to join us today so that she could tell the rest of you what this is and what this is for and how you can use the process, how you can use what they've developed. So take it away, Kristen. Thanks for joining. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for giving the time. And it's great to be here with you guys this morning and to hear all of your gratitude. Kind of fills me up. So I'll share a little bit around the background of the company, kind of why we started it and what we're doing, and then would love your involvement or just sharing the message around it any way that you feel comfortable. So I know Giuseppe from when I was working at experience.com. So good to see you again. I did that for a couple of years, but I started my career as a social worker and worked primarily with homeless youth and immigrant communities, and just really, I did a lot of outreach education and financial literacy education there. And that's what kind of fueled my desire to bring education through financial literacy, seeing the kind of impact that would have on those communities. So I started a company called Cultural Outreach, which I did for about 10 years, where I worked with lenders. That's where I met Dave, and I started speaking on the topic of reaching the next generation. So through that time, at this point, I've surveyed over 6,000 millennial and Gen Z consumers, and really the same topics kept coming up around distrust in housing professionals, a lack of hope or optimism around their finances, feeling that homeownership was completely out of reach. And so, through at the time with Cultural Outreach, I was working through lenders, and I sold the company to NAMBA. But because part of the challenge was having, like, I feel like as a nonprofit, people who are really passionate about this are able to come together and deploy it in their communities in a way that where people have kind of an ownership over it. So I've been talking with Dave. I've been friends with Dave Savage for over 10 years now. And we've been talking about this concept of, like, how do we really have impact? How do we bring this to communities across the country in a way that leverages people that are already very education focused or focused on first-time homebuyers, and want to have impact in their communities. So that was kind of where the premise behind starting First Home IQ. We launched we launched the concept about a year ago, and we launched our ambassador program in October, which is when Dave just was like, yes, I want to support this, was kind of all in right away. And so appreciative of that. That was what got us off the ground. And at this point, our ambassador program, which Jacqueline's been a big supporter of as well, has been the lifeblood of the organization. So I'll share with you a little bit about that, and then, feel free to stop me, or we can talk about any questions you have towards the end. But I'll just briefly touch on kind of the mission around it, what we're doing, what that looks like. So the goal behind the ambassador program is to support loan officers and real estate agents with being first responders of the financial literacy crisis. So whether that is supporting them with, we have a lot of education resources for them to do first-time homebuyer workshops, or to go in to volunteer with a nonprofit in their community, Big Brothers Big Sisters, or whatever that is, whether it's to support growing their business with first-time homebuyers, or just having an impact and bringing financial literacy, or just branding themselves as, hey, I'm someone who cares about education and is going to lead with education when I have a consultation with you. That's kind of the whole point of the ambassador program. So at this point, we have over 100 ambassadors, and we have a great community here. Even if you don't join as an ambassador, we have over 600 or 700 people who are active in the community, and all passionate about financial literacy. If you want to join just that portion of it, you can go to firsthomeIQ.com/industry and join the community. And then as part of the ambassador program, we have a bunch of different resources that, again, kind of support the idea of bringing education into your communities. So we have the curriculum, which is presentation material that you can take into a classroom or a first-time homebuyer workshop. So like our first-time homebuyer presentation, it's all designed in Canva, so you can easily edit them, make it your own. We have short videos that we've created that are designed to reach a kind of younger segment, and we keep it super interactive. We have worksheets that you can print out for every presentation that helps kind of guide people through it. Again, like lots of questions that help to facilitate engagement. And we have some activities too that are more designed for the classroom and kind of younger audience, but everybody is, and we have like quiz questions that help people stay engaged too. So that's kind of where we are with the program. We have Spanish language that's coming out this month, or I guess it'll be released next month. We have some additional program or some focus area that we're expanding for children coming from low-income families and military families as well. So we're continuing to expand that. We also have a lot of strategy material that help people with reaching first-time homebuyers. So we interview leaders with first-time homebuyers, and then collect exactly areas that they would suggest to help them grow with first-time homebuyers. So for instance, with Mose, she talks about how instead of using pre-qualification that really kind of makes people anxious, use words like home buying assessment. And so anyway, we try to bring in value around how do we even think about our language, and whether it be in consultation or in presentations. We also have a quiz that every ambassador has their own kind of branded quiz, and it is 20 questions that measures your understanding of buying your first home. You can also, anybody can take this quiz. It's on our, keep pulling up Amir's, it's on our homepage. You just go to Test My IQ, and it's, again, 20 questions that measures your understanding of buying your first home. And at the end, it will it will give you the answers that you got correct or incorrect, and it will tell you why you got those incorrect. So it's a good teaching tool, and kind of everybody wants to know their, their score. So we have the average score right now, and it's not a super, crazy test, but the average score is 57%. So our goal is to increase that score. And if everybody took this quiz and just had a basic understanding of what kinds of questions even they should be asking, the kind of the way that would improve our understanding of even accessibility to homeownership would change dramatically. So if you do nothing else today from this presentation, would really love for you guys to take this quiz and then, share it in your communities and your networks. I think it can be a great tool then a lot of people use this at the beginning of a presentation, like before they do a workshop, or a presentation, they'll open it up with take this quiz, and then it facilitates more discussion, or they say take the quiz before we have our consultation, and it shows the buyer that, hey, I'm here as an educator, and also it helps open the door to some questions that they might not even know that they had. So anyway, around that, we have like lots of suggestions around here's how someone created a social media reel about it, or here's some scripting for how to share that on social or in email. And so there's we try to make sure everything that we've created is like done for you, makes it easy for you to share. And then for the ambassadors who do have their own branded version of the quiz, they get emailed the name, email, and results of anyone who takes that quiz. So, so it's been a really great tool for growing their database. Michael, who joined recently, said that this has been helping him build his database faster than ever. And he has shared the quiz at the beginning of a presentation with first-time homebuyers, as well as with financial advisors. 43 out of 53 of the financial advisors took the quiz. So he has now 43 new email addresses that he can put through a campaign or just follow up with individually. And also it's there's emails, he sends out emails that are talking about being an ambassador and take the quiz. It's a way to show people, hey, I'm committed to this mission. And then we have done for you social media content with captions, and I can show you any of that. But and then we do a monthly strategy call where we talk about any of the strategies people are deploying in their communities, and updates and things like that we have going. So there's lots of benefits to the ambassador program if you want to be active in your community, or if you want to share this with first-time homebuyers. But our goal is around to bringing this into communities, and whether that's you doing that in your community or you're supporting us doing that as an organization, all of the program fees for the ambassador program support the nonprofit mission, which allows us to expand our curriculum development. It allows us to roll out the curriculum with local schools. So we're working with high schools and have rolled out a curriculum that is helping underserved youth from basic financial literacy all the way through, or basic money management all the way through how to buy a home. And we're also working with organizations like Big Brothers Big Sisters and conferences that are like Future Business Leaders of America, to help bring educators into those kinds of networks. And then while we're doing that, we have online courses that they also can go through. So all of our courses are free to anybody, and those are designed for that younger consumer. But they have all of our content in there with the videos that we've created, and talk about relationship with money and things like that. So anyway, we're super grateful to everybody who has shared this message. It's and also is supportive of through the membership fees, who have allowed us to be able to be at this point where we're really making an impact. if you are interested in being an ambassador, we ask for 2 different areas. One is social impact. So that's a commitment to just sharing the message in your community. So being active in, it could just be posting about it on social media, or if you're wherever you're involved, whether that be at a at a nonprofit or at a chamber of commerce or whatever, that you're sharing this message, and hopefully that's also supporting your business. And then the financial piece. So our program fee is $200 a month. We have some ambassadors who donate on a per loan basis, and anything above that 200 is tax deductible as a nonprofit. So it's, however you want to structure that. And then we would take you through the onboarding process, and you get your, all of the resources to share the message on social. And we try to also like really understand what your goals are as an ambassador. And Jacqueline, we have a new survey coming out right now that we want to hear every individual ambassador's like feedback on what your goals are, so that we can help support that, whether it be through expanded resources or just accountability or whatever. So we're super excited about that. And again, thank you so much for the opportunity just to chat with you guys about it. Any questions or thoughts?
Yeah. So first, well, let me ask Jacqueline. Jacqueline, look, talk about how because I know you used this information, I believe, when you did the educational events at the Boys and Girls Club. Is that right?
Yeah, so I created a just like a little educational series for the Boys and Girls Club that was like 5 classes, I think I ended up doing for the staff there. And I used some of the curriculum that they had in the presentations with First Home IQ, and I implemented some of that. And then I also pulled in the quiz and things like that, and just tried to just create some more brand awareness around it. And then I recently did a presentation with my CPA's office, and we talked about it as well. Or not my CPA, financial advisor, and really just geared it towards, hey, have your kids outstayed their welcome in your house? Like, let's help them buy a house, and here's how you can kind of do that so it's not so scary. And so we just kind of talked through some of that stuff. And then my goal then is to take the curriculum and stuff into the Boys and Girls Club and teach the kids there, and hopefully create some impact there with the work I'm already doing.
Right on. And Kristen, so what's been, I'm curious because of the quiz, what's been the most surprising thing about the quiz? Is it how poor the financial literacy, I hate saying it that way, but is it how bad financial literacy is? Are people like very like, I didn't know any of this stuff? Is that typical of what you hear?
Yeah, and I was truly shocked by the results from the quiz. And we've created a quiz, like that's the core of like, okay, share this quiz, you have your branded version, but we have a quiz for every category, like money management, credit, whatever. And I've watched my friends who are in their 30s and 40s take this quiz like in front of me. I'll watch them do it, and they're like, oh, I think I've heard of FICO, I don't know. And just different things that I'm like, oh, I take this so for granted that this is something that, that we understand, and people really, and I think what has been interesting for me is to realize, like, once they take the quiz, it opens the door to a ton of questions and conversation. Like they're like, oh yeah, like they feel more comfortable now that they have some structure or language to, even because before that they didn't have any, they knew they had questions, but they don't know what to ask, so.
Oh, that's a good way to say it. They have questions, they just don't know what to ask.
Mm-hmm.
That's really interesting. Well, and this has been always part of what was interesting about this business to me was how most people do a terrible job of managing, not most people, but many people do a terrible job of managing their personal financial life and their credit, and how they go about doing everything regarding their finances. We see it all the time. Giuseppe had a client recently. We had 3 of these, actually, not just Giuseppe, clients that make really good money, doing very well, and are completely over their head in debt, and without the ability to there's so much debt that we can't refinance them and get them out of it. And they're in a position where they've got no other choice but to sell their home to pay off all of the overhead that they've created for themselves. And it's astoundingly sad how that happens. And I mean, the guy was really despondent. Like it was like, we were kind of worried about the guy because the way he was talking to Giuseppe, he's like, I feel like a complete failure. I've let my family down. Like, it's just like, dude. And it's sad that that's where people end up and they just don't know where to go. So, it sounds like the community's really grown really well. I'll complete honesty. I haven't paid that much attention to it because I've got a lot of things going on, but, I thought it was a great opportunity. Well, what else should we know? What else should these guys know about it?
I realized I kind of skipped over part of our mission and how we are thinking about what people need to know. Because as you were telling that story, I thought, oh, people need to know about debt when they're getting offered credit card, offer student loan debt by the age of 18. And yet most people have zero financial literacy education ever, and so kind of the way we think about it is at the age of 16, you're getting your first job, you should have a basic understanding of how money, savings, and investing works. By the age of 18, you're getting credit card offers, student loan debt. You should have an understanding of your credit score and debt. And then by the age of 21, a basic understanding of how mortgage appreciation or real estate appreciation with a mortgage works. And as you're getting kind of sent off into the world. So as you think about that, if there's ways that you can, even like one campaign that one of our ambassadors is talking about creating that we're working on is how to bring that to parents, your past customers who are parents of kids, and say like, hey, I believe in these money milestones. And I would love to do a seminar for, a webinar for your kids. And I feel like just having some kind of
what a cool idea. That's a really cool idea.
So anyway, but if you're interested in joining I put a link to the quiz. Would love for everybody to take the quiz, and you can use Jacqueline's link and help increase her scores. And then if you're interested in joining the ambassador program or just learning more about it, I'll put the link in there, but it's firsthomeIQ.com/ambassador. And I think that would be a good place to hear some other videos of other ambassadors who are using the program as well.
Very cool. Jacqueline, why do you think everybody's going to be surprised at their score?
Because like some of these questions, you're like, oh, this is actually kind of a hard question. And like, I don't remember what my score was, but it wasn't 100.
Dude, I just scored 100, just saying.
You're such a liar.
Not on years. I didn't go to years. I went to the generic one. But yeah.
But yeah, it's just, I think, Kristen, isn't the average score like 57% or something like that?
Yeah, that's the average score. Yeah. So, I mean, we don't want it to be super hard, and we're going to go through our next round of iterations on this in September. So if you have feedback, if you're like, hey, this is too advanced or this is tricky, let me know and we'll put it in the bank for what we evaluate the next time. But
the wording was a little tricky.
You need to send it to Nate.
I'll send it to Nathan.
Yeah, send it to Nate.
I'll send it to Donnie too.
He's our youngest son. Yeah, you should send it to him too.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Well, and then I'm going to be embarrassed because I'm their dad and I should have educated them better. And I'm in this business. So if they don't get 100, that's a reflection on me.
Really common actually, but I'm sure they've heard some things. So.
I kind of really like the idea, you guys, of reaching out to, the clients that you have that have children in the teen years, because the earlier you expose teens to this, it's a really good point. I think it should be against the law to have credit card companies offering credit cards to college students when they arrive on campus. And that's like a whole industry that should be outlawed. We don't, because it really should start, to your point, it should start when they get their first job, and then when they hit 18 and when they hit 21. And I think this is it'd be really cool to reach out to some parents with those teenagers and offer just like going, hey, I'm going to do this thing on the weekends. It'd be kind of a fun weekend thing to do, or maybe an evening deal that you did. Is like, come on, we're all sit around and watch, like, because if you, and every parent cares about their kids' personal finances, right? Mm-hmm. And I bet many parents would be like, oh, this is really good stuff. We should participate. And so Because that story about when we find these clients that good earners, right? They earn a really good living and they just outspend they outspend their ability to pay for their wants, not needs. And it's really sad what can happen to you. So the best thing that happened to me in my personal finances was I got in the mortgage business and I started to see how everybody lived. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I don't want to live like this. And so it changes you.
Remember that couple from like 15 years ago? They were both doctors before the
yeah.
housing bubble, and they went out and bought like 10 rentals and got foreclosed on all of them. When we did their first loan, we're like, look at that income. Wow, that would be amazing. And then they lost everything. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we want to prevent.
Doctors are tough because they starve as interns and then they get the big contract and they just got to go get the house. They got to go show everybody, hey, I'm a doctor. And it's weird how they live. Like they carry $30,000-$40,000 balances on multiple credit cards because they just cover the debt every month. I'm like, dude, this is brutal. So yeah, this is very well. This is cool. This is cool that you're doing this. Well, thank you, Kristen. I appreciate you coming on and taking the time. I would highly encourage everybody to go take a look at this and study a little bit more. I'm definitely taking the quiz, and I think there's a cool use for that. So and I'm going to use it on my podcast that I do for more than mortgages, and try to promote it there as well. So maybe I'll have you on sometime, Kristen. Anyway,
awesome.
yeah, that'd be fun. Does anybody have anything else? All right. Thanks again, Kristen. We appreciate your time very much. Thanks for doing this. Everybody, let's have a great rest of your Friday. We'll see you on the noon call.